What's up, ladies and gents? Centerstrain01, your host here, and welcome back to another gameplay overview for Assassin's Creed Shadows. This time, we're going to be going over the combat. So I haven't seen this at all. I don't know, about a few weeks ago, we went over kind of the stealth elements that they were going over as they kind of do these little drops trying to give you a little bit information on gameplay and stuff like that. So this time they've put out combat, and now I'm finally getting a chance to actually cover it. So let's go ahead and take a look at this and see what we got. I can't wait for Assassin's Creed Shadows. I'm looking forward to this every day because it seems like this little break that they took to get the game in a better position has been a good thing, and I think people are starting to get more and more excited about it, so I am as well. So make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff, because, you know, we're here to continue to make this the best place to be, to learn about information of games, to show walkthroughs, guides, 100%, achievements, all that kind of stuff here on this channel. So if you like that, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. So with that being said, let's go ahead and dive in to Assassin's Creed Shadows combat gameplay overview. All right. So obviously all the footage is from a work in progress of the game. We get that. Let's just start with the offensive basics. We'll start with a quick round basics. The principle of Shadows fight system. Remember that choosing to fight as Naoe and Yasuke, as well as your choice of weapon, can alter these building blocks. So from what I understand is that you're going to be able to choose who you take on specific missions. You might have some missions allow you to take either or one mission might be tailored to a specific protagonist, and then you have to go in with that. So as much as I am going to stick, to the stealthy character, obviously there will be times where you're going to have to play as the other character as well. So you just keep that in mind, that you're not going to be able to play it a certain way. You're going to have to play, you're going to have to be played the way that the game wants you to play it in some instances, but you will be able to switch back and forth at in some cases. All right, let's see. Light attacks. Light attacks offer quick, fluid, and reliable, inflicting small increments of damage. However, some enemy archetypes can power through them and land attacks of their own, so be careful. Obviously, some of this is stuff that we've seen in previous AC games, since they went to the RPG formula. There's a light attack, there's a heavy attack. Obviously, some things can't be blocked, and you're probably in this gameplay, I have not seen it yet, you're probably going to notice a lot of similarities between the other games. All I hope is that, even though there might be similarities, that they've put some more polish in it, and they've made it feel like there's a purpose to it, as opposed to just, this is the system, let's create a game around the system. I want a game that's created first, and then the system forms around that game, and it makes this game better because of that system. So we'll see how that goes. Heavy attacks. Packing a bit more strength, heavy attack inflicts higher damage on most enemies, useful to stagger them and create some space around you. Posture attacks. Holding the input on any attack, so that means you can hold it on the light or on a heavy, will charge the attack to significantly increase its damage output. This is called a posture attack. A posture attack can be held indefinitely, allowing you to adjust your distance or change targets. All posture attacks are great at breaking through an enemy's blocking stance, breaking their guard instantly. Light attacks can be postured a bit faster than heavy attacks, but heavy postured attacks pack one heck of a punch. If you get the timing right, take note though, enemies will watch out for posture attacks and attempt to prevent you from charging them, so make sure to keep your eyes out. So it looks like we have a mechanic where you might be revving up your charge, the enemy takes notice of that and will immediately try to attack you. So obviously when you start these heavy charge attacks, you want to make sure that you're starting them from a point of being further away, because in that way it takes the enemy longer to reach you, and then by the time they get to you, you're ready for the strike. All right, so mixing light and heavy attacks is the best way to build up different complex combos. Let's take a look at the gameplay.
Work together.
Okay, so first things first that I see with that little clip right there, and I'll try to put this in the highest quality that the thing allows us to have here for you guys. So the first thing that I see here, let's watch the whole thing first. I think that's always... Okay, so that was pretty cool. I'm going to turn this down to make sure you guys don't get some bleed in through the speakers here. I'm sorry about that. The first thing I noticed, well, there's two things that I noticed. One, a specific part of the body was labeled red. And so I got to figure out what that exactly means.
Together.
So does that mean that that hit right there cannot be blocked in any way? Because it just seems like a natural kick. And if you can't block a natural kick on an enemy, that would be a little weird. So it's got a little red thing that the enemy has that shows that they're doing some type of attack there. What I also noticed was towards the end of this is they're doing the thing just like in, I know, and obviously there's going to be a comparison with the Ghost series. I mean, it's just, it's how it is because the games are similar. Where he gets into like a posture move where he's holding a sword waiting to do a specific attack, and then you either counter that attack and then do your own attack. But yeah, you guys seen that a lot in Ghost of Tsushima, so you could see, okay, I like the stance. See how he goes into that mode right there where he's putting his weapon here, so he's going to do an attack, and that usually sets you up for a nice counter. So you could break his guard there even before he does his attack. And I like that right there. I like how he loses his armor. So depending on the hit that you do, the enemy will lose its armor, and then you can probably get in more, attacks. And I do like how he kind of like, do you see what he did with his face there towards the end? Like, watch, he does this here. Then he's like, like he was like, I can't believe I just let someone take off my armor. So you can see his armor was at the very top and it kind of broke there. So it was very interesting. So he's clearly holding it right now, because if you look, there are two different stances here. So you've got that one right there, and then he puts it up. So he's holding probably, that's the thing though, I don't understand, because he did a kick while he was holding that. So if he was holding his heavy attack and then he does a kick, I'm not really sure how that works. So we'll have to see on that. But I do like that the gameplay just doesn't require you to like just attack. That it actually feels like there's got to be strategy to every fight. Listen, in this kind of game, it should be to the point, if you're going to make it like this, that every single time you have a chance of dying if you're not paying attention. If you're trying to go in with your attacks too much, you should have the sense of one mistake and that's it. My character's gone. And that's how it should be. No matter how powerful you are, if you get lackadaisy and you just start, throwing things out there and not thinking about strategy whatsoever, I like a good strategy into what I'm doing. I don't, especially if it's going to be an RPG format, I don't want to just go boom, 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 enemy done, let's move on to the next one. I want there to be like some conflict between them. I love it when an enemy can tell you a story between your conflict with them. Like where you feel like each enemy has its own story to tell, and you care about that story and you want to win. And at the end of that story, you come to the conclusion that you were the better man. So I love that kind of feeling when it comes to this. And I hope that they really portray that good. So let's watch it one more time.
Together.
But as you can see, nothing stands out too much as far as difference between, other things like that. So yeah, it feels good. It looks good. And I'm happy with where it's progressed. All right. Vulnerable state. Under certain conditions, such as perfect dodge, an enemy can be put into a vulnerable state, a short window in which they can be dealt devastating damage. This vulnerable state is the perfect opportunity to counterattack by unleashing a posture attack or active ability for maximum damage. Defensive basics. So obviously here, it's pretty much pertaining to, it looks like we're going to have a perfect dodge. So I'm pretty sure there's going to be a parry too. I don't really know. I mean, obviously it says it down there, so there's going to be a parry, but there's going to be a perfect dodge. So if you dodge right at the last second, then it probably does this type of slow down mechanic or something like that. I don't know. And then you have that opportunity to do what you need to do. So I wouldn't say it forces you, but it makes you want to play better, and it makes you want to pay attention. It makes it to where you want to actually be on defense. Sometimes a good game is not only about offense, but it's about defense. It's that thrilling sensation of knowing I'm going to give you a chance to take me down, but you're going to have to work for it, you know? So there's a cool play to that, right? You know, it's fun to be on offense all the time, but it gets boring after a while if you feel like every single time you're just attacking, and they can't do anything. Where's the fun in that? Where's the challenge? So if you're going to bring a challenge, if you're going to make this an RPG, if you're going to make this like this, if you're not going to have it be like the old Assassin's Creed games where you just, you know, you have pretty much one move you can do, you know, and it's an instant kill or whatever, then this is a good thing. I think it's a good thing, and hopefully it makes you want to be more defensive and see what the enemies can throw at you. So dodge. Both Naoe and Yasuke can use directional dodges to avoid incoming blows. Naoe's dodges are characterized by directional rolls, whereas Yasuke's are directional steps that keep his stature upright. So that makes sense. She's such a smaller character, so her just doing like this little itty bitty dodge out of the way might not necessarily be able to get her completely into safety. So to have her actually roll out of the way because she's a very small character composed of all these other, you know, men that she's taking down, it makes more sense for her to have a longer type of dodge than for him, obviously. Both characters are very reactive. Yasuke's second consecutive directional dodge step has a slight recovery period where Naoe's doesn't have one. Okay, we'll have to see how that works out. Parry and deflect. Both Yasuke and Naoe share similar mechanics under the parry deflection umbrella, but the results vary slightly from each of them. Yasuke's parry mechanic happens on a straight line. When a parry is successful, the enemy bounces back, opening themselves to counterattacks. In short, Yasuke does not back down and does not concede terrain. Okay. Naoe's deflective mechanic requires similar timing, but sees her pivot to either side of the enemy, deflecting their attacks away from her. This changes the axis of combat and exposes the enemy's flanks, but it also means it opens herself up to surrounding enemies, pushing you, making sure you're staying alert. So let's take a look at the footage first. All right. Gotcha. Okay, so it looks like you're going to get the classic, I wouldn't say classic, but the Assassin's Creed RPG formulas parry right here. You've seen it once, you've seen it all. I mean, it's been the same in the last 3 games where you do a specific block, then you stagger them, and then you open in for a counter. That's how it's been. But when you're playing as the, you know, the shinobi, I just call her shinobi, it does a little something different. It doesn't do that big thing. It just puts you in a position where you're to the side of them, and then you're able to take them down. So let's look at that again. Okay, so he's coming in for a block, so he does the block. All right, now you see the circle that appears above the sword right here. My guess is that's like a timing window that kind of gives you a little bit of a hint on exactly when you need to do the parry. And then you do the parry there, turns yellow to let you know that the parry was successful. He's obviously stunned, and now you can go in for a bunch of hits. That must have been a perfect one right there, because as you can see, she blocked it, then she dodged immediately, and now she's almost behind the character and obviously able to get a, you know, perfect thing. So I guess she doesn't really do a parry. She does more of a deflect from what I'm seeing here. I might be wrong. Maybe she does a parry too, but that's the special counter. And that's the deflect and then move. So I'm thinking what it's saying is that they each do that specifically. He does the special counter, she does the deflect. I could be wrong in that interpretation though. Now, I loved how that was delayed. So some enemies are going to have that kind of, oh, they're coming at you, but then it stops for just a split second, and, you know, it makes you panic a little bit, and then you end up missing your timing, or if you're used to it, then you've got it down. I love the wind moving throughout here. It really makes it feel like, you know, it's that epic. You know, this is a samurai game. This is a ghost game. I mean, it's everything, and I think they've done a good job with making it feel good. All right, block. Unique to Yasuke, block mechanics allow him to turtle up behind his weapon and withstand attacks, including incoming arrows or kunai. So kunai, if you guys remember in Ghosts of Tsushima, was a weapon that we could use to throw at the enemy. Except for unstoppable attacks, which are detailed further below. These subtle differences in attacks and defense is really what makes the control of each character unique and adapting to your ideal play style. So, Only he can block. Obviously, that's not true because she can deflect, and deflect is a block if you look at it, in all of its context. But yeah, so I got to see the gameplay on this to see that. Turtle up behind his weapon. So obviously he could just hold the block and then they could do a massive swarm of attacks, so they can do 4 or 5 attacks in a row. You're able to block it, probably based off of maybe your stamina, and your stamina will run out, then you can't do block anymore. Wasn't that in the previous games? Something similar to that. I love it how they phrase some of this as to make you think this is new, but a lot of the mechanics are exactly the same as the previous few games, just putting a more emphasis, on it in a samurai / ghost kind of way, as opposed to the other games where it wasn't samurai or ghost. All right, skills and abilities. Skills and abilities can be acquired and learned throughout your journey, a further development in your combat repertoire. Some of these are active abilities that are triggered manually in combat to deal more damage. Some are combo variations or extensions. Others introduce new mechanics that require precise timing and new tactical approaches. These will be crucial to surprise your enemies, and as they are tied to your progress, will give you an ongoing sense of growth within your combat mastery. We'll have more to say about the progression later, but right now we can say that gaining levels or defeating specific foes will reward you with mastery points, which you can spend in the different mastery trees to unlock weapon-based skills and abilities, amongst other things. This progression loop will allow you to put your skills to the test by facing strong opponents and be rewarded with new moves to learn. Active abilities are by far the most powerful skills to acquire. They look cool, they hit hard, and they offer additional opportunities like gap closing, armor breaking, even health regeneration. Players can also earn passive skills, which will work in the background to make you more efficient and powerful in combat. These include adrenaline regeneration, basic health increase, time dilation for longer windows of opportunities, and more. Let's take a look. Oh, is that an area of effect? I like that. So we now know at least that if you have a long weapon like this, then obviously there's going to be multiple enemies that you can hit at once, which I do like. Okay, interesting. I gotta watch that one more time. It's just basic. The biggest thing is, when it gets red, it changes into like this old classic filter mode, which I do like that. I think it's kind of unique and cool. Separates itself a little bit from Ghost series there because of that. I like that because they only really did that whenever you went into your special mode towards the end of the game, when you went into like your Ghost mode. So I do like how they're going to do that and how they do finishers and stuff. I think it's really cool. Let's watch it one more time. Basic, simple gameplay here. There's really nothing to say there. Obviously, this is a special strike that he gets. Let's look at his meters down here. He's got 3. Now he's down to, so I don't know if that, let me see when that 3 goes down exactly. Yeah, okay. So you notice that right there, he used that specific spot up when he went and did this move right here. Now, let me look at the left side of the screen so I can pay attention and see if anything shows there. So yes, so he just used it. That just lets you know that he just used it. So my guess is it's going to be just like the previous games where it's an RT and then probably Y based off of what this is showing. And then you have your up, your down, your left, and then your changing of your weapon would be right. So yeah, okay. Cool. It's what we expect, and we want it to be as perfect as ever. So, yeah. All right. 2 protagonists. In essence, our core fight mechanic are the same for both characters, but as samurai and shinobi, respectively, they each have their own weapon types and abilities to make them feel different from one another. Despite Naoe's formidable stealth prowess, as detailed in our previous post, she's no pushover when it comes to combat. Quick and agile, she can make short work of a single enemy with her barrage of attacks. But as the number of enemies increases, she will be at a significant disadvantage due to her lack of armor and limited combat resources. As for at the opposite end of the spectrum, Yasuke stands as a stalwart warrior ready for prolonged knockdown, drag-out combat scenarios. For instance, the less The last attack in each of his combo endos, will break an enemy's guard without relying on posture attacks. So if you're able to get a full combo off, that last hit will break their guard. While both characters can carry 2 weapons and switch between them in combat, Yasuke is also the only protagonist with the ability to switch weapons mid-combo via the link attack ability, which allows him to rapidly string together attacks and weapon abilities in a continuous flow. Yasuke has a few unique samurai tricks up his sleeve. One of them is the sheathed posture attack, where he would charge up an opening attack with his katana is still in its sheath. Okay, on top of looking quite iconic, most enemies won't see that one coming if timed correctly. Let's take a look. Oh yeah, okay. I mean, it looks great. Okay, yes, looks very similar to Ghost. Obviously, both of these games were being made at the same time, but clearly, you know, they've taken some inspiration from Ghosts, and no one is going to deny that, and you can easily see that inspiration. There's nothing wrong with it. Got a little charge move there. It comes in, takes him out. I mean, that's just a beast move right there. Just 2 dodges. Now they don't have the attack on. So this is the same move that you saw literally the enemy doing in one of the previous little videos that we were taking a look at. They were in that posture move as well. And so it's literally the exact same move. At least the way that it looks right here is exactly the same. I mean, yeah, granted, yeah, look at that. And then after every fight, there was nothing more awesomer than watching your character go through like an animation where they, take their weapon and then place it back and sheath it. And then of course I would always do the bow. Maybe the bow might not be in there, but I just love doing that. I just put a little bit of respect on your enemy because, I mean, even though they're enemies in these games, back during these times and the location of where these games take place, like your enemies had respect for you. Like there was it's not like warfare today, it's totally different, a totally different amount of respect. They understand that these are 2 different societies coming together to face each other, and you still had respect for your enemy. So I always love the animations of showing respect to the enemy at the end, but that's pretty cool. I like it. Weapons. Both protagonists have a unique selection of weapons available to them, which offer their own set of abilities, among other strengths. Naoe's weapons unlock unique stealth opportunities, while Yasuke's offer a variety of strategies. Sorry if I keep saying the names wrong. To be deployed in combat. All right, so she has the katana, is a well-balanced and versatile. It offers good balance of speed, damage output, defense. While time attacks can stagger enemies, opening windows for posture attacks. The katana unlocks the ability to assassinate enemies through soji doors. Gotcha. Oh, okay. All right. Well, there you go. So she can do a parry as well. And I mean, you literally just saw her do it. Now, first of all, the first thing I saw was she slipping on the ice. Yes. So nice. Okay, now you saw the move, and I want to try to show it off here. I know it's like weird looking when it's going through step by step here. So obviously attack, boom, there's the big thing. It gets smaller and smaller, and when it gets down to the very end, that's when she actually does the block. And then there you can see it happening, and then turns color. Followed up, execution. I mean, that looks good. You're a dummy if you don't think that looks good. So my question is, did she use one of these? The katana combat on ice. I see that, but did she use one of these? Look how they're showed up. See, and now they're gone, and now they're back, and now they're gone again. So I don't know how that works. Obviously, I don't know if she used a specific move or she just did a block. But that was a freaking good, man. I could watch that all day long. It's good to know that one-on-one, she's going to have good combat with her too. Because one of the things I was afraid of was that they were going to dumb it down to where it's like, you got to be stealthy with her. But clearly you do not want to take on more than one person, maybe two at the most, and smoke and get out of there, right? This is not a character that you want to sit here and just run a gauntlet through enemies. That's not how this is. You could do that with the Ghost, but you not with this. You know, they're respecting her character, and they understand the limitations, and they understand what they're trying to accomplish with each and every single character. That's why they're giving you multiple ways of playing with two characters. It makes more, it's supposed to, listen, essentially it's supposed to make more people happy, right? It's not the, you know, choose one, or it's trying to let everybody know that whatever playstyle you prefer, you're going to have the opportunity to use it. And that's a good thing in most cases. There are some times where it gets forced on you and you don't like that, but there are other times where it's like, it can be really cool. And granted, even though I want to spend most of my time with her, I still am going to want to check out what he can do and the cool moves that he has. Sometimes you just want to feel like a badass on the opposite side of stealth. I feel like being a badass when I'm doing stealth is badass for me, but there's also the opposite side of badass, which doesn't include stealth. And that's just, you know, bring it. Right. And so there's, you know, they're giving you options. Can't complain about options as long as each option is done well. All right, so that is the katana. Now we have the Kusarigama. The fearsome, sorry, I'm gonna have to sneeze. The Kusarigama is Naoe's best option for crowd control. Its extendable ball and chain can reach enemies at a distance and push back numerous enemies all at once, while its scythe is adept at giving a single enemy a very close shave. The Kusarigama unlocks the ability to rush, assassinate enemies up to 10 meters away. Okay, so this is for your distance. She doesn't have, I guess, a bow on it. Now, I saw a blue attack there. Oh, man. That's so good. Okay, animations. You got the animations down, but see that blue attack right there? I mean, yeah, there's a lot of similarities to Ghost, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to say this is just cut and paste from that. I wonder how you block. I still don't quite understand why you can't block a kick. I don't quite understand it. Maybe you guys can enlighten me, because my interpretation of a block that's unblockable would be if someone's doing a really heavy attack that is just so impossible to block. But a kick doesn't seem like that type of thing. So I don't know. That's just me. I might be overthinking. Now notice how quick it comes. I'm talking about the red attack. See, I mean, you see it at the very bottom, like about right here. Now look, see, you see it right there. So she just did an attack, and immediately, it doesn't matter what you do in your attack. Yeah, he'll take damage, but he'll still come with his unblockable attack, and you got to get out of there super quick. That was 3 blues in a row, and then after that, because you blocked, he was staggered. So it's really good. Let's watch it one more time. Yep, open for attack. I love the animations for the takedowns at the end. It's not just you hit them and they're dead. There's actually takedowns for that stuff. I do like the characters in the background reacting. I mean, all games should have some type of reaction if you're sitting here fighting an enemy or something like that. So that's cool. Yeah, gameplay looks really good. I mean, it does. Tanto and Hidden Blade. Here we go. Hidden Blade combat makes its return when combined with the dagger. Combining whirlwind slashes and fighting fast stabs is the idea weapon for the strike and retreat. Death by 1,000 cuts playstyle. The Tanto and Hidden Blade combo unlocks abilities to perform double assassinations. Okay, unblockable. That makes sense for unblockable. Another, so 2 unblockables in a row, but you still were able to. So you were still. Never underestimate an Egon. So you were still able to actually get in. Parry. So, okay, so this is where I'm a little confused. So clearly you just saw that he had 2 unblockable attacks that you had to get out of the way for. Yet after he was done with that second one, he was put into the yellow state, which I've only ever seen the yellow state mean that you have successfully parried something. So either way, you dodged it, takes time to get out, and then you go in for the kill.
Never underestimate an Egon.
Lots of hits, though. So, did you notice that at the very end of her, she started charging right there. I mean, you literally, I just had it at the perfect spot. Right there. You see that? So that's obviously a maneuver where you're holding it in. So I'm guessing that if you want your takedowns, maybe the last hit that you do, or where they're lowest at their point of health, to get the takedown animations would be to do your holding it in and then have that be your final blow. So that way you get the cool
Never
takedowns.
underestimate an Egon.
A little bit of a slowdown time. Wind really likes to blow in these games. I think we're going to see a lot of wind blowing. For samurai games, they just love doing that, don't they? Yeah, it looks good. All right, so Yasuke, let's move on. Long katana, legendary samurai weapon, scaled up to match. Yasuke is versatile, well balanced, equally efficient in attack, one-on-one duel, or in the middle of a large scale skirmish. So you can still block it, but you'll lose your guard. Oh, dude. Oh, so good, man. It's so good. So you'll probably be able to dodge that, I'm sure. Oh. I mean, seriously, this is like, wow. It is. This is going to be so good. I just, I'm getting so much more excited. Looking to see if he's using any special moves. So every block he does, he's gaining his power down here. Very similar to, he does use one right there. He uses something. If you take a look, see, he just used it right there. So, yep, he used this right here. So this one down here, that's what he used. Yep. And you can see it was slowly building back up once he used it right here. See, kind of charges back up. So a lot of the mechanics are stuff that you've seen in previous games. It's just, you know, being utilized in a way that makes more sense than it ever did before. Standing all at over 2 meters in length and sporting a sharp bladed tip, the Naginata is Yasuke's weapon of choice for crowd control. It is very efficient, keeping enemies at bay. Kanobo, perhaps Yasuke's deadliest. Sorry. Oops, messed that up. There he goes. Deadliest weapon and definitively his heaviest, the Kanabo can break through enemies' defensive pulverizing armors with the slightest hit, but its deadliness comes at the price of speed and mobility. Okay, timing is everything. And the bow. Yeah, we've seen this here. But it looks like you can take out multiple enemies that are very, very close to each other without the other one noticing. But literally, this is the same exact thing that we've seen last time. All right. Tempo rifle. Oh, we got a flint rifle. Combines destructive power with high lethality. Its raw power offers more than a bow and great armor penetration, albeit with a slow fire and even slower reload time. Bow is a good opener when you don't mind being noticed. Okay, mastering a weapon takes time and dedication, and Shadows players gain experience through combat, earning mastery points. So you don't gain experience by stealthing around people, unfortunately. which kind of sucks because I always love going in and not being seen at all and coming out with not messing with a single enemy. That's the kind of stealth I love. But you know, this kind of stealth is good too, taking people out. It's action. It's what people enjoy. Some people find it boring to sneak around enemies. I find it liberating and more challenging to say you've placed this character here as in a way to keep me from moving forward, yet I found a way around that character. That is a good challenge for me, but not everybody is like me. Know your enemy. As you progress and discover new locations in Japan, you'll encounter stronger and tougher enemies, each with new abilities and movesets to challenge different aspects of your fighting mastery. The enemies in Shadows are numerous and varied, but for simplicity's sake, we've categorized some of them under a few families. Outlaws are opportunists. They prey on the weak, and for what little combat training they have, some make up for it on unusual tactics. Beware, they're brutes who can still be incredibly deadly. The Ashugaru soldiers. Ashugaru are the conscripts and volunteers forming the bulk of any clan's enemies, carry basic weapons, fight using individual tactics. They tend to be more aggressive towards Naoe and are fearful of Yasuke. Cool. It's going to be unique having guards that are like fearful of you. Ronin, they're masterless samurai perpetually seeking their next meal. Most Ronin are in the employ of Naoe and Yasuke's enemies. They roam the roads and will attack on sight if they recognize you. Former samurai themselves, Ronin are well trained and their disheveled looks are deceiving. Samurai, superb warriors, well trained and fierce in combat. Samurai can carry a wide variety of weapons from their trusty katana to the mighty kinabu. They can also wear an impressive selection of armor sets, including some very high-level in-game sets, and enjoy a surprising number of attacks and counterattacks in a fight. If you can catch them unaware, samurai can easily be picked by for a shinobi, but as soon as they know a threat might be lurking nearby, their vigilance and battlefield awareness make them formidable foes. Samurai Daisho. An offshoot of the samurai family, Daisho are enemy types that can only be found in military castles. They have unique fighting styles that mix a lot of techniques, and they are stiff combat challenged all by themselves, let alone when surrounded by other samurai. The samurai Daisho are the gateway to some of the best loot in the game, though, so they are worth the time and effort. Guardians, an elite group of badass samurai. Guardians are used as reinforcements when the alarm is raised in any given province. With their unmistakable white manes and face masks, Guardians aim to strike fear in their opponents and offer some of the most difficult combat you'll find. Study their tactics. Recognizing the pattern and tactics of your enemies will ensure you gain the upper hand in most situations. Here's a brief look at some of the mechanics and challenges you will face in Shadows. Flurry attacks. Flurry attacks are marked by a distinctive blue glint on the enemy's weapon. They are a sort of succession of attacks that won't stop even if you successfully block, parry, deflect, or dodge them. Gotcha. The next blow, so it's not like Ghosts where someone does a blue attack and you can, if you have the appropriate weapon equipped that you need in order to be able to actually counter it properly, then you can take them out immediately. So this, you have to go through each and every single hit to put the enemy on their back foot. Unstoppable attacks. They are marked by a distinctive glint on the enemy's weapon. They are hard-hitting, highly kinetic attacks that should ideally be dodged. Blocking, parrying, or deflecting an unstoppable attack will defuse much of its enemies, but it will break your character's guard and leave you open to follow-up attacks. So the way Ghost of Tsushima did this was that if you used it, right, then almost immediately you would need to get out of the way, like right afterwards. You'd have like a split second to dodge again or something like that. So I don't know if that same thing's going to happen where you get vulnerable, they come in for an attack, but you still might be able to dodge. We'll see if that actually is the same way done here, because that's very interesting. Advanced players might want to fine-tune their dodge timings because a perfect dodge against an unstoppable attack will trigger the enemy's vulnerable state. Ooh. So perfect dodges are what you want to do. Yep. Success, success. There you go. Okay. The combat is so good. Oh, I love the finishers. Every time he's taking out an enemy, I've always seen finishers. So that feels good to me. I like that. I don't know if that's always going to be the case, but probably definitely don't want that to be the case if you're going up against multiple enemies at once. I hope that the enemies don't just sit there and line up for you to take down, that they actually can attack you more at once. But that's hard to tell. All right, last thing, defensive actions. While under attack, enemies have a variety of reactions available to them to attempt a momentum shift. These are called defensive actions, and they can vary from simple step backs that avoid a single blow all the way to lightning fast, unstoppable counterattacks that will challenge your nerve. Generally, the more enemies are involved in a fight, the less defensive actions each of them will perform, confident that their numbers will be enough to overwhelm you. But in a one-on-one duel against a highly skilled warrior, defensive actions will be numerous and nearly constant, pushing you to diversify your attacks and utilize every move you learned along the way. All right. Well, there you go. So that is the overview for combat in Assassin's Creed Shadows. Let me know what you guys think. I'm sure there could have been a few things I got wrong here. I, for one, as I've said previously, am a huge fan of what they're doing here. I cannot wait to play it soon. Excuse me. Sorry. That was a reflex I had there. But yeah, so let me know what you guys think. And are you excited as I am to get into some Assassin's Creed Shadows? I'm so glad that we're going to have a stealth game coming up at the beginning of the year. Hopefully it'll be good for the channel. Remember guys, that this channel is what we do for a living. So when games like this come out, it usually means that we can have a better month and that we can make it past the next month, hopefully. So your support always comes in during these times, because this is when we can gain new subscribers. This is when we can bring more stealth people into the fold. And that's what we try to do here, because we love stealth so much on this channel. And I want to make sure everybody has a chance to see what this game can do. Right. You know, I come into every game that I play a 50-50 slate. I can be excited, but I also know that sometimes it might not live up to the expectations that we put for games that we love. So I try not to be biased in anything that I play, and I want this to be good. I want it to be successful because I want more stealth games. I don't care about all the stuff that happens outside of games. I just care about the games themselves. I want good quality games. That's what I care about. So hopefully you guys will support the channel any way that you can, either by subscribing, become a member, Patreon, all those things. Just check the links in the description. It all just helps us keep this channel going strong. So again, I love you all. Thank you so much for being here, and make sure you subscribe, hit that like button, follow us on social medias, and I will see you on the next Assassin's Creed Shadows video. Peace out. Bitches. Meow.